2012, they were promised by the Americans that they will become the new pashas of Aleppo and Damascus. But what happened is that the Americans, they were not killing Assad, they were neither destroying Daesh. Their game was simple: divide and rule. Make every Muslim go and kill other Muslims, while Israel will rule. So in 2015, when Turkey understood its mistake, it joined the so-called Astana Agreement, where Turkey, Russia, and Iran, they agreed to stabilize Syria. Erdogan fired his prime minister, Ahmet Davutoglu, and what happened a few months later, the Americans, they are going to unleash the Gulanis and will have a coup against Erdogan in July 2016. Erdogan will be saved by Russia. The Russian Secret Service, who is going to understand what the Americans are up to, they're going to alert Hakan Fidan, the chief of MIT, or Turkish Secret Service, and thanks to Russia, Erdogan will be alive. But what happened is that with the start of the, I would call that probably the fifth Islamic-Israeli war, which started by Hamas on 7 of October 2023, when on behalf of Hamas will have Iran, Libya, Yemen, Syria, and Iraq join the war. When this war will start, Turkey, instead of joining this Islamic coalition, it just stayed and kept on trading with Israel. While Erdogan was denouncing Israel, Turkey was one of the main trading partners of Israel. During the more than 1 year Islamic-Israeli war, which happened from October 7, 2023 until 27 November 2024, Iran, Syria, Iraq, Yemen were all bombed by the Anglo-Zionist Empire. The British, they bombed Yemen, they bombed Syria with the Americans, they bombed Iraq, Israel the same, but the Axis of resistance responded back. And this war caused so much damage to Israel. Israel is a very small country. Yes, it is a military garrison of the Western Crusade, but it was never meant to fight long wars. Moreover, Israel does not have the strategic depth that many Muslim countries have. But during this war, Israel committed genocide in Gaza, where it killed probably as many as 200,000 Palestinians. It massacred and flattened Lebanon. It killed, according to me, the president of Iran, Ebrahim Raisi. Before this, the Zionists, they assassinated Qasem Soleimani. It killed Ismail Haniyeh, Yahya Sinwar, and Israel, thanks to the American and British intelligence, was able to kill many of the leaders of the Islamic resistance. But on 27th of November 2024, Israel finally signed an armistice with Lebanon, because during 2024, some 500,000 Zionists left Israel. So the Zionist project was in a crisis. Yes, Israel and the Americans, they had technological superiority when it came to the axis of resistance, but still the Israeli state cannot sustain a long war. But then what happened? On 27th of November, when the axis of resistance was thinking that the war is ending in a stalemate, suddenly from Idlib, the terrorist groups of Jabhat al-Nusra, which were supported and funded by Qatar and Turkey, were unleashed against the Syrian Arab Republic. And on 7th of December 2024, if I'm not wrong, after capturing many of the cities of Syria, finally the terrorists, they captured Damascus. In this moment that we're speaking, the government of Bashar al-Assad is no longer there. The emir of Syria is an international terrorist, Abu Muhammad al-Golani, otherwise known as Ahmad al-Shara, a person who is wanted even by the Americans, who is a listed terrorist by the United Nations and many other governments of the world. But the Americans, they have allowed him to be the puppet ruler of Syria. In this moment that we are speaking, Israel is bombing Syria, is destroying its infrastructure, it obliterated its air force, its navy, and few hours before it was bombing Damascus. Israeli tanks are probably 10 kilometers far from Damascus. And what Israel is doing, Israel in collaboration with Jabhat al-Nusra or Al-Qaeda, they are dismantling the Syrian Arab Republic. Israel is now colonizing Syria, and Netanyahu and Israeli leaders, they are very happy because while on 27th of November 2024, they didn't reach what they wanted in their war with the Axis of Resistance, what Turkey, Qatar, and Al-Qaeda did to them was the greatest gift given to the Zionists. And the new government established in Damascus by Abu Muhammad al-Golani have declared peace or neutrality towards Israel. So while Israel in this very moment is killing Syrians, is invading Syria, these so-called revolutionaries who made the revolution in name of liberating Syria from the dictator Assad, they are simply traitors.
Traitors.
They are selling Syria to the Zionists.
Traitors.
So they are the ground force of international Zionism. So while we know the Zionists and the Americans, they are afraid to send ground troops in Muslim countries, their ground troops are the Wahhabists. So this was my historical summary, Sheikh.
Thank you, Dr. Olsi, for this extremely important exposure of the historical background.